Okay, we're back here at Apex today, and we're going to kind of continue on with some scenery work here. We're uh, just finishing things on the layout, and we're on to another little project here. The wall behind the station, which goes right there, and then we just moved everything out the way here just so we don't destroy what we already did. But the wall behind the station, as you see it right now, that's foam core pieces with model builder design concrete block wall. Well, that's coming down. That's going to be removed, and it's gone. As far as what we're going to do right now, that's gone. So now this is what we have. Courtesy of Mr. Rod Fredericks out of Baton Rouge, he had these pieces left over from another project and no longer needed. And actually, some of them were new, some of them were used, but we resprayed them all. These are moldings. This is a fiberglass, not fiberglass, but a plaster mold that he made all of these up. And he had a number of them, about 6 or 7 brand new ones. So we sprayed them all light tan to represent concrete. And we made up enough to where it fits the space. And now I am doing the weathering approach. And I just did one section here, and I'll take it and I'll put it next to the thing, and you can still see it's still wet and drying. So I'm not going to say that's going to what the final picture is going to be. But that's the quote-unquote famous India ink and alcohol. So this is what we're up to right now. Well, we're back here this morning, and we have put up the wall and glued it in place, the pieces. And like a lot of things in life, you find out the foam back behind there was not what you call perfectly straight. Had a bow in it, which made life interesting. Actually, if I took a shot down the wall, you'd find out it has a little curve in it. But anyway, I think we've got it all in place now. Where you can see the white glue is there, so it's not dry. The lead weights and stuff leaning against her is just kind of like to hold it in place till it all dries. Once it dries, then we'll take the tunnel off. That piece right there, the big tunnel, is removable. I'll take it off, and then I'll get in here on top, and we'll get some more cow coat, and we'll fill in between the back of the wall and the crack that's there that you can't quite see this way. But we'll fill that in, and we'll clean it all up, and then we'll do some scenery work around the bottom and where we built it up a little bit. So we covered up a crack that, if you look at the previous video, you'll see we actually raised the wall up a little. Use some old cork from basically roadbed cork, the track cork, that to raise the bottom of the wall up. Then we use some joint compound to fill that edge, and then we painted it. Then we'll go put some scenery down there along the bottom, and that'll pretty well camouflage the wall as far as what it looks like in the real world. So anyway, this is our little project here, putting the wall up, for the retaining wall up for the back of the station, which is temporarily sitting over here on top of the main line. It's what HO gauge modeling is all about. Just grab a hold of those big stations and move them. Okay, so moving right ahead. We need to talk about LED lighting again. Gonna have to do something on that because believe me, this railroad right here is the greatest example in the world of started in 2008 and now we're into the actually I haven't seen anybody use it in model railroading yet, but we're going through 4 lighting changes on this railroad. We had the standard incandescent bulb, which is one right there. Then we went to the CFI bulb right there. And I have LED bulbs. I don't know if there's any around here. I think there's 2 down here. Yeah, that's an LED bulb. Now, this was all done with the standard fixture, and that's a 120 volt AC line. Would have never ever done that today. If I start on this railroad today, it would all be done with strips of LED underneath the valances. Those fluorescent fixtures would have been LED fixtures. All the track lighting. Now, the track lighting will get changed over to LED. I've already got some LED bulbs in there. But the problem here is you're talking 30 or 40 bulbs up here. Can't remember. I hadn't counted how many I have 2 sides of the room. But you just you just can't go out and buy all new bulbs. Them things, they are not cheap yet. They're coming down in price. We noticed the other day because we went and bought some new 60 watts for inside the house. And they are dropping. But you can see right here in this video, right here, the 2 bulbs down here on the end on this section are LED light fixtures. And if you pan right here, you see the light changes. It has to do with the temperature of the light. The LEDs are basically bright white, and they're I don't know the terminology. Maybe it's a hotter color, but it's a brighter white. So as I have buried all of the, I'm down to 16 incandescent bulbs. I'm at the point right now where it probably, and I have the 16 LEDs to replace it. And those incandescent bulbs go back to 2008, 9, or 10. And I've just, as each one is burned out, I've replaced it with a CFI. Then I went to start replacing them with LEDs. So we're close to getting rid of all the incandescents. Kind of at a point right now where we just need to go ahead and bite the bullet and pull all the incandescents. In the summertime, you know, for me, which is the majority of the year, is a warm situation, not a cold. So they generate heat in here. And then I have to run air conditioners. So, you know, I may just want to pull them and get rid of the heat issue. We went in just before the LED fluorescent tubes came in. I had some more ballast fail. And I guess it's been about 3 or 4 years ago. We went in and fixed all the ballast. And then we went through and found out when we opened up the light fixtures, I noticed that half the tubes were not working right. So I went in and re-put new tubes in all the fluorescent fixtures. This is the other side of the room, which I don't keep the lights on. Okay, so there's the fluorescence and the rest of the track lighting. And yes, I noticed the antennas come undone from the Velcro. But this is a turn on this. All that lighting underneath Rock Ridge for the balance is CFIs. I know that whole string is all CFIs. So if I change that to LED, it's going to make it even whiter. So it's adequate now, and I'm not going to run out because the CFIs don't generate that much heat, and they'll work probably after I'm gone, but I'm not going to go buy LEDs to change out the CFIs. But like I said, if I had to do this all over again, that 110 volt line that I had to run and to ensure that, everything was done electrically correct so that we don't have a fire issue, would not have been done. I would have been done with LED strips in 24 volts. There's no need for a 110 volt cable running along, and then you have to keep your DCC track volt away from the 110 volt cable because it will mess up the signals. It eliminates, the LED thing eliminates a lot more things than just lighting. So that's this morning's story. And I'm looking down here at this real bright spot. No, they're both CFI bulbs. I thought that I had a LED. I know where there's one over here. But it gets to be quite evident. But again, the important story here is before you start building your railroad, you better spend some time thinking about how you're going to light it, what needs to be lighted, whether you're going to have a second level on it. Because if you don't put lighting underneath the second level, things get dark. And I'll give you the best example of that. I'll turn the lights back out. And that's what happens when you turn the lights out. It's dark back there. And for people like me, the older you get, the things get. Now, back in the day, and this is a good one right here, this side still has the last remaining rheostat over here. And watch when I turn the rheostat on, as soon as I give a little electricity, you saw it, there's the LED comes on. And I don't have it cracked, but just a little bit. Now I turn up the rest of the way and you see the rest of the incandescent light bulbs that are left on the layout come on. This is the last section with a rheostat on it right there. And that happens to be about been going back about 20 years when that one was bought. That was a $58 rheostat at Lowe's because it handles 1,000 watts. They ain't cheap when you start getting up there into the higher wattage. But it's an example. You have to think about what your lighting's going to be. And like I said, and this started in 2008. And what I know today, none of this lighting that I'm showing you right here, this would not be done this way. I would have done it all with LED strips. I would have mounted them on 1/4-inch ripped pieces of Luan, 2 inches wide, 2 strips, connect them up underneath the 1x4s that are up underneath there. And then I would have put them to a 24 volt source, electrical source. You don't need 110 volts. Okay, enough with the lessons for today. Moving on, we've got to go finish working on our retaining wall. Well, here we are Saturday evening. I think we're on June the 9th, 2018, and this concludes the Apex Grande Pacific retaining wall project. It's probably a little bit more I have to do in the back with putting some more weeds into the cracks on the mountains. We toned it down over here. You can see we got some weeds in there, and it helped. But this gets the retaining wall project finished, and we've got all the scenery and stuff done on the tracks back here. So another part of the layout pretty much finished from the standpoint of scenery. And we'll step back here as far as we can get the whole thing in. So we move on to the next project on the railroad, and got a couple of options here. As we're doing here, we're getting some weeds planted here in the front of the station. Have had the stuff in boxes we bought, and we'll go down and finish off putting some more. And we have some other little things we're working on. We fixed up the road down here and took away a seam, and we repainted the roads again. So we need to do crossings and stuff across here. So we got some little things to finish this up, but we keep plugging away. So moving ahead, we'll call this a wrap on the retaining wall on the Apex station.